filling in for Todd Griffiths. He is down in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Expo, which is a coin show. It's down at the Convention Center on Arch Street, and he's going to be there from the 15th to the 17th. It is a Whitman coin and collectible convention. Whitman puts on several shows a year, and in November, we're going to be back in the Baltimore area for another Whitman coin and collectible coin show. Today we're going to be talking to you a little bit about some of the things that we're seeing in the news, a little bit about the Donald and some of the decisions he may be making with taking gold in for real estate, and then we're also going to get into some of the 5 common mistakes that people make when buying gold.
That's correct, John. I mean, what do you think about that lease agreement possibly pending with Donald Trump on 40 Wall Street, one of his biggest properties in Lower Manhattan?
Well, to me, the most interesting thing, really, Jeff, that stands out about it is what he feels the repercussions are going to be. He really thinks that if it's something that he does, and if he does actually take those 3 gold bars, which are 32-ounce gold bars in for that lease, that he really believes that other tenants or that other people that are leasing property and that are trying to secure deposits for real estate are also going to be starting to accept gold and possibly other precious metals in exchange, as opposed to the dollar.
Exactly. In announcing the lease, Mr. Trump also said it was a sign of the unfortunate standings of the United States and the U.S. dollar in the world, and that led him to think about this.
Yeah, we certainly know that he did stop his presidential bid, and I think that he is trying to have America think a little bit about some of the change or not change that Obama has brought to his administration. But the interesting thing to me is that it's also very similar to what Utah has done as well.
I agree. What's funny is with the quote that Trump said whenever he mentioned that it's a sad day when a large property owner starts accepting gold instead of the U.S. dollar. Trump said that in an interview. He said the economy is bad and Obama's not protecting the dollar at all. And if I do this, other people are going to start doing it. And that's exactly what you just said.
Right. No.
How do you think that's going to affect the market?
I think that we're going to see a lot of people starting to convert their cash holdings and put it into precious metals. If precious metals are going to have more purchasing power than the dollar, I think we're going to see people start converting some of their cash reserves. Mm-hmm. The reserves are just sitting around, and they're kind of going up and down with all the manipulation that's going on in the markets. And I think that by converting it, especially if they're able to secure tangible assets like real estate with those precious metals, then to me it'd be a win-win.
Absolutely. And going back to looking at the dollar losing 50% over the last 10 years, I mean, people want to take control of their investments. They want it. They don't want to see a piece of paper with their whole with all their holdings and not knowing that it's actually there. With gold and silver, it's a physical possession. They take control of it.
Well, that's right. I mean, they're not going to wake up one morning and turn on their computer screen and find out that their precious metals have crashed down to zero, or because of some decision of a bank owner, or because of some decision of a president or of a stock company. That all of a sudden the market starts to go down. I mean, with a precious metal, they don't have to worry about the decisions of other people. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I mean, think about Utah and the other states that are considering, legislation about gold and as a form of, actual currency and stuff like that. Austria limiting, 10 ounces per person per purchase.
That's right, and that news actually came out a few days ago. That, and according to the bank representatives, what Austria has done is they have ordered to restrict the sale of gold and silver bullion purchases and limiting it to personal acquisitions, meaning each individual could only acquire approximately $20,000 in precious metals. So, when we're talking about gold, that's about 11 gold ounces. And they have to purchase those through the central Austria banks. They can't buy them from other sources. So, I mean, other countries are being limited to their gold holdings. We're still very fortunate that we can acquire, these types of precious metals and tangible assets. Mm-hmm. And really people should be taking a look at that. If other countries are having their holdings limited, then really that is a signal that we should be acquiring more. And look at what India is doing. India is buying lots of gold, and we're coming into we're coming into a season of the year when they're going into their wedding months, and we know that has traditionally over the last 20 years they have really moved the gold market simply because of their traditions that include and involve gold.
Did I hear something about the number is somewhere around 130 metric tons of gold in the next 2 months?
That's right. About 130 metric tons of gold are going to be acquired by India in the next few months, simply for the purposes of their wedding. Of their wedding ceremonies. They like to give gold as gifts. They like to use gold in their ceremonies, and it's something that has become a tradition to India.
Right, and I don't know the exact calculations, but I think it's somewhere around 32,000 and change ounces per metric ton. That's a lot of gold.
That's a lot of gold. That's a lot of gold. Something else that's pretty interesting, Jeff, is there's an article that came out today about why central banks are helping the Europe banks get U.S. dollars, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to end a liquidity crunch issue that they've been having for about a 3 month time period, and what it looks like is that they've decided to try to get the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, and even the Federal Reserve involved to try to kind of spark some growth, to try to spark some movement in the economy and get our dollar back to to a place of where we could trade with the other countries and not kind of fall behind.
I agree, and if you look and if you're watching, the dollar movement, it has been going up over the last 10 days. About the last 2 weeks, the dollar has moved up a little bit. Gold has shifted from an all-time high of about 1,900 because of a big sell-off. But I believe this is just people who have acquired quite a bit of gold in the past. Were able to take substantial profits on it. But I definitely see gold still as the thing to own. Tangible assets is a huge part of your portfolio, and we should definitely look into it.
So Jeff, tell me, why do you love being in this business?
Why do I love being in this business? Well, I like gold. From day one, since I was a young boy, I love money, and gold is the oldest form of money, and, there's a story that goes back, since I was a little kid. My mom said you would see money and you just love money. There was a point in time where I ironed my dollar bills because I wanted crisp, clean dollar bills, okay? That is an actual story. And, I've loved money ever since day one. And in today's market, I was heavily invested in 2007 and 2008. In 90% of my portfolio was in stocks, and I got hit pretty hard, during the '08 crash.
A lot of people did, yeah.
Along with everybody else, I'm not crying the blues, but I got hit hard. I lost a lot, and I now put everything, whenever I have free money, free dollars, it's going into gold and silver, and eventually, rare investment grade coins.
No, I agree, and one of the reasons, Jeff, why it's so important to me to be doing what I'm doing today, especially today, is we have a lot of people that come to us, and they have goals that weren't met through other types of traditional investing, and really when people come to CTGroup to try to accomplish something, really one of the first things that we look at are what their goals are, or what they've done in the past that has and has not worked. And we really try to to put together a strategy, and to me that's really why I enjoy working with CTGroup, is because they're very goal oriented and solution minded. So if someone's goals match a solution that they have, then it comes together to do good business. And we really are looking for people that we meet short term goals, we have long term strategies, and we're able to accommodate investors and collectors in every sense of the meaning of tangible assets. And I don't think, when we talk about tangible assets and about having a portion of your portfolio, we don't think that you should have all of your money into tangible assets.
No, I think it's somewhere, when I talk to clients or potential clients, I tell them, I strongly recommend at least somewhere between 15 and 20%, which isn't, you just have to be diversified today. You have to, if things crash on the other end, at least you have something to keep you going, something to put food on the table. You have gold, you have silver, you have something that can be bartered with. You cannot barter with a stock statement.
Right.
What is, it's not going to work.
It's a piece of paper.
I can show you a stock statement that says I have $10 million and it's just as good as the paper that it's printed on.
That's right.
But I can show you a 1 ounce gold coin that's worth something that can be traded and sold, and the liquidity is worldwide. It's worldwide.
Right. And so what CTGroup did, is they really took it to the next level as far as diversification, and even within that 10 to 20% of your portfolio that we believe should be in tangible assets, we've even gone further to diversify those tangible assets and break them down even further to that way further protect your portfolio and give you some liquidity and give you some growth for long term and give you a chance to preserve wealth and make money too.
Yeah, we talk about, when we're talking to potential clients about building a portfolio for them, it's a well-balanced portfolio. I mean, there's a certain, we have 4 different types of portfolios that we build for people, and it all depends on their comfort level as far as being conservative or having, being a little bit more risky in the gold markets. Now, being conservative, we're talking somewhere between a 2 to 5 year hold, and just putting it away. And and a lot of people are happy with that. And and we do this. We're not we're not selling. What we're doing is we're educating. We're educating the public on a diversified asset.
That's the primary objective. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like I tell my clients, if you're interested, if you have any inkling of learning more, allow us to present the information to you.
Well, that's right, and it's just that it's that easy. We know that if we educate the public, if we educate our clients, if we educate people looking into tangible assets, that they are going to want to work with CTGroup because of our transparency, because that we want to educate them, because of the integrity that the company holds. Mm-hmm. And those are actually 3 mantras that the company lives by is integrity, transparency, and education.
Exactly. And you know what I tell them at the end of the day? If you have any interest in learning more, allow us to walk you through this process. At the end of the day, if you're not comfortable, you got great information that you can take with you. If you're not comfortable at the end of the day, take the information, study it even further. You will come back to us because you know what? You understand what's going on.
Well, yeah, and the CTGroup University really, to me, just takes it to the next level. We don't just say we're going to educate you and stick something in the mail and make you sit there and read it. We actually have a very unique and it's the first time that anyone has ever seen this type of online university, and it has video content that's been in the Smithsonian, and it has pictures of the some of our early leaders and some early Benjamin Franklin images, and there's some things that the public has never seen before.
If you go to CTGroup.com and you click on one of the tabs called University, you can actually see a picture of the original blueprint of the Philadelphia Mint. Now, I've never seen anything like that until I went on the university.
Right.
And it was mind-blowing. I mean, the stories. I mean, if you like history and you want to learn, you have to go on to the University of Rare Coins. And it's free. All you have to do is go to ctgroup.com, click on the University tab on the front page of our website, just sign in. It's, like I said, it's free. Create yourself a login and a password. And it's hours and hours and hours of just pure education. It's a history lesson that you don't have to read. It's narrated. You know what? You can listen to it. So you can put it on and it'll play throughout the house or wherever. You don't have to sit there in front of a book. It's absolutely amazing.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna take you to a quick commercial, and when we come back, we're gonna get into some of the 5 mistakes that people make when acquiring gold.